We're live back in the interview room, and now we have the winning connections of My Miss Aurelia, winner of the Grey Goose Breeders Cup Juvenile Fillies Sprint. On the left, we have the co-owners, George Bolton and Barbara Banke of Stone Street Stables. And on our far right, trainer Steve Asmussen, the second Breeders' Cup win for all three of our guests today. And of course, they tasted success, I'm sure you all remember, back in 2007 with Curlin in the Breeders' Cup Classic. Congratulations to all of you. I don't know exactly who to direct this to, but I'll let anybody who wants answer it. There's one gentleman who was there in 2007 that isn't with us here today. Of course, the late Jess Jackson, who has put his heart and soul into the game of horse racing. You know he's looking down, smiling somewhere. Talk about, if you would, Barbara, the feeling of satisfaction knowing that Jess is winning a Breeders' Cup race here today with a horse that he thought so fondly of and, in fact, bred.
Well, I know it would mean the world to him to win this one with a homebred, because he was always interested in breeding a racehorse, not just horses for sale, but horses that would win at the track. And we're so fond of the mare, My Miss Stormcat. Her first was Albergati, who also raced for us and we thought was fast. And then this filly we thought was the best yearling we had. And we were so pleased when George bought her and allowed us to stay in. So I know he'd be proud.
And Steve Asmussen, I'm sure you're very proud of the performance that your filly turned in today. She's undefeated, and she really left little doubt about who was best on the day. Looked like Corey had her in a nice spot all the way around. He's riding the next race, but what did Corey tell you after he climbed off?
Well, we obviously were just very happy and celebrated the victory. Not much was spoke about the race. I thought he did a tremendous job with her. The filly is, can't say enough about how top class she's been at every stage. Mentioned the pride and that they bred this filly. She was their favorite at the farm. George, bought the filly, his yearling. Stone Street stayed in on her then. She went to Gulf Coast. She was their pick. She came in this spring. She's just been everybody's star at every stage. And the 4 races she's put in this year, I don't think she's left any doubt. I love how she acted today. Can't say enough about the job that Scott Blasey and Carlos have done with her in their handling of her and how she acted today under these sort of circumstances. And I thought she proved to be a champion today.
George, it's been a very fortuitous partnership that you've had with Stone Street over the years. Obviously, there's only one Curlin, but could you compare, if you would, or contrast the feeling today with back in '07?
Well, I would say that Stone Street, Jess and Barbara have done great things in this sport, and obviously Curlin was a horse we bought off the racetrack, but if you look at this year with McLean's Music and Albergati, this really outstanding filly. They've got top bred horses on the racetrack, coast to coast. So it was really fun for me that rarely do you send a horse to be broken, and she's the now horse. And then in May, when they hand him off to Steve, no, she's the best one we've got, Colts and fillies. And then to have her do this 4-race streak so strongly, just be kind of in control at each spot is huge for me, and fun that Jess and Barbara went to my parents' house for Curlin and Rachel and astrology for the night before the Preakness, and they became great friends. And my mother, this is factual, has been to 19 races for me or for Barbara or when we've been with her at the races, and she's won 16 of them. So it is a nice omen that she was part of the package as well, and I think that the filly is outstanding. In terms of her versus Curlin, they're both just way ahead of my expectations, and I think that the common thread here is John Moynihan obviously helps Barbara in a very big operation and me in a little smaller operation, but I've got to really thank him. He got me to stay at Keeneland that Thursday to buy this filly. I had a flight at noon. He got me to go home at 8 at night to make sure I stayed in to buy her. And if you really look at my little operation and the success we've had, I really have to thank John, because he's put us into some really, really good horses over the last 10 years. So,
Steve, this, by the way, your very first Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies starter, so you're perfect now in this particular race. Often is the case at the Breeders' Cup where horses will come in, but they maybe haven't faced the top flight competition yet, and they have to prove themselves here. My Miss Aurelia really that wasn't the case. She was in a loaded maiden race in her debut. She was put to a dogfight in the Adirondack, won a pace duel last time out in the Frisette. She was really kind of showed something every single time rather than just laying over the field. Do you think that's seasoning, or that helped season her perhaps for the run, let's say, that Grace Hall put at her today?
Well, I think just like you mentioning being perfect in the juvenile fillies, it's something she's done. She came in, as George mentioned, as no surprise. She was the best one. She wasn't a secret at any stage, and she's who you wanted in those spots. This is very fortunate to be in a position to have something like this walk into your barn, and she has definitely stood up to the challenge and proved to be extremely talented and well-minded and competitive, and very proud of her and everybody involved at this stage.
And this is my last question. I'll throw it over. But Steve, Corey Nakatani is experiencing somewhat of a resurgence in his career, and a lot of his winners these days he's getting a leg up from you. Can you comment on Corey's recent run of success and his overall skills as a rider?
Well, that's his 8th Breeders' Cup win. He's been there. He's done it before. He has a tremendous amount of confidence in himself and who he's on, and it's clicked. I think that when you're trying to establish something, get something done, the terminology, it's just clicked, and we've had success. And sure, like today's performance, I thought she got jostled a little in the first turn. It wasn't, and he had confidence in her, put her in a great spot. She was relaxed for him, and she responded for him. It was, I think that he rode as well as she ran. Very proud of both of them.
Okay, again, people upstairs are welcome to ask a question by going over to Angie in the middle. We'll start down here with Jason.
Barbara, can you recall what it was about her that you and Jess loved about her when you first got her on the farm?
Smart. She's a smart strike, and she was really a smart, good-minded filly, and just had a lot of elegance and class about her at every stage. So we thought she was beautiful and classy, and really liked her.
Tom?
She's 4 for 4, and in the post-race talk, Corey Nakatani said she was able to relax, and he was just a passenger, and she did the rest. And given the way she has been winning, and winning with such authority, is she Derby material, and do you think she can handle the boys next year?
I think that, as been mentioned, she targeted serious races. For 4 races to run in, she's been tested and answered them. And I think that we're very pleased with where it culminated for this year. I'm definitely going to speak with George. We'll celebrate her victory, speak with Barbara and George and John Moynihan, and enjoy this, and then obviously try to map out something that she deserves.
Do you think that it has any distance, that she has any distance limitations that may keep you from looking at any of the longer races?
I feel very, watching the race today, I feel very good. Walking over, I was very concerned with the drying out racetrack. It seemed pretty slick and somewhat sticky. And I think that, late she looked as good at the wire as she did at the 8th pole against fillies that I know are good and have a lot of respect for. I think that our job right now is to take care of her and have her in the best condition possible, and I think that the distance will fall into place.
George, as you mentioned, your mother has been on hand for a lot of big victories, but given that this one is her namesake and all that goes along with that, just interested in your feelings about today and those emotions.
I'd say that we all agree with good energy, and I think the first time our group really got together in one room was the night before the Preakness with Curlin, and this energy was in the room like this group is just doing so well, we can't be let down tomorrow. In the back of my mind, I was thinking that, never saying it out loud. And it's kind of been an internal family joke that, is your mom going? And then, of course, my betting friends like, is your mom going? I don't care about anything else. Is your mom going to be there or not? And so it's kind of fed on itself, and obviously it's very special for me. I lived on a small horse farm growing up, and so to have her at these big races and have them work out with her namesake is way beyond my expectations. But it has been a great ride, really, since the Preakness of '07. With Aurelia, Jess, Barbara, and me, and Steve.
Barbara, can you touch a little bit on your emotions with Jess and what these last few months have been like, and just what it means now to culminate in this win?
Well, it's been a rough 2011 for me and for my kids, two of whom are here, and we decided that maybe it was more like we were just going to declare year-end and go forward. So it looks like we've turned the corner, and this is a good omen of things to come. But I'm very happy to have the homebred My Miss Aurelia win this race, and the kids are happy, and so it means a lot to us.
All right, well, just a very convincing and happily satisfying win today for My Miss Aurelia. Congratulations to George Bolton, Barbara Banke, and Steve Asmussen on a great victory. Quite possibly an Eclipse Award come January, we'll see. And great job and best of luck with your filly going forward.